Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my first video in 2025. That's right, I am kicking off the new year on this channel with a review from 2024. But the reason being was because this was just released on Netflix this past weekend, and that of course is the long-awaited Wallace and Gromit film, Vengeance Most Foul, directed by Nick Park and Merlin Crossingham. This is the 6th entry in the Wallace and Gromit franchise, and this follows our cheese-loving lads as Wallace invents this nifty invention called the Noorbot, which is supposed to help out with garden and landscaping. But of course, as usual, things go a bit awry with this invention due to perhaps a bit of a nefarious force from the two pals' past. Now, look, I have to say, I grew up on Wallace and Gromit. I love these films. I think every single one of them is really good at the very least, and they're just so delightful to watch. The humor, the characters, it's so memorable, it's so iconic. And so when I heard they were doing another feature-length film, I was like, hell yeah, this is going to be one of the best movies of the year. And I've been waiting ever since the end of 2023 to see when it would come out and when I got to see it. And luckily, I did finally get to see it. It was a little bit long of a wait, but man, you know, I knew it was going to be worth it. And let me tell you something, it is. I loved this film. Obviously, this is being touted in contention for Best Animated Feature Film at the Oscars, and is absolutely going to get in. I think every film in that category is just about locked up. But my goodness, this might be one of the best being nominated. This is one of the best animated movies from 2024, no doubt. And I think the best feature-length Wallace and Gromit film. Yes, I think that this, quite frankly, betters itself from Curse of the Were-Rabbit in every single way imaginable. The story is so tight, the jokes are so funny, witty, dry, punny, hysterical. Everything you want from Wallace and Gromit humor is present in Vengeance Most Foul. And it also brings us the return of the series' most iconic villain in Feathers McGraw, who doesn't have to say a single word, but you feel his menace, his strategic mind, his strategic brilliance on screen every time he appears. And I don't know, I think that there's something with Feathers McGraw because honestly, like I said, not only do I think this is the best out of the feature-length Wallace and Gromit adaptations, I think this is one of the best in the series, period. So, I don't know, I think they're cooking with this little penguin here. But let's get into all that works about this movie, because there's so much. Now, this should come as no surprise, but the animation is the best it's ever been. Look, this was made in 2024. Obviously, it's going to look better from something that was made 16 years ago, because that was when the last one was, A Matter of Loaf and Death. And so it's been a long time since we've been back with Wallace and Gromit. So long, in fact, that the original voice actor, Peter Sallis, has sadly passed away about almost 8 years ago now. So I will say I was a little concerned going into this movie about Ben Whitehead as Wallace, because I saw the trailers and something seemed a little bit off to me about the voice. Now, this could also be a complete unknown syndrome, where I saw that trailer and I'm like, I don't know if Timmy is going to completely nail Dylan, but I will say Ben Whitehead absolutely nails the voice of Wallace. You know, the wondrous naivety of this character, just his good-hearted nature. It is really great how he captures this character and picks up right where Peter Sallis left off. I think it is very seamless and you do not recognize that it isn't Peter Sallis, to be quite honest, and I'm very happy of that fact. And I also think a lot of the other voice acting is pretty memorable in this movie as well. Like Lauren Patel as PC Mukherjee, who's like this new cop on the beat who's very enthusiastic, wants to do all the, research and all the investigation and, follows her gut feeling, which proves to be correct more than once or twice throughout the movie. And I thought she was a really fun addition to the cast. She brings a very, lighthearted nature and a real wholesomeness to the film's narrative that I think is very necessary, even though Wallace and Gromit, it's so delightful anyway, so it's not entirely a surprise. And also Peter Kay is back as Chief Inspector McIntosh, who was in The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, and he's kind of like on the last legs of his career. He's got one more job he wants to finish before he finally calls it quits to the force, which is unveiling the blue diamond that was stolen by Feathers McGraw in The Wrong Trousers back in 1993. And I really do think he adds such a great sense of levity to this movie. His character has a lot of great humor, a lot of great standout moments, I would say. And yeah, I really was happy to see him back in this role in this film. And of course, I mean, as far as voice acting goes, that's pretty much, the only ones you're going to see throughout the movie. But, this movie is just so filled with so many great visual gags and humor that just had me laughing consistently from minute to minute. It hardly stopped. And this is like an 80-minute movie, but yet you feel like every single moment was so purposefully crafted, written, put together, and executed on screen. It really does feel like so much love and care went into this film, even more so than some of the others, and I would still say that about most all those films too. Like, they're very, very carefully crafted, but I think this one especially so. And of course the idea of the Norbot, and how, the reliance that we often have on technology to do our day-to-day tasks. And this is something that, of course, conflicts with Gromit, who's, he's just a dog. He's a simple sort of pooch, and he just wants to tend to his garden. But Norbot comes in the way, making these massive, gardenal structures that completely ruin the essence of what Gromit is trying to do. And then, of course, it gets a bit more complicated. But what this film, I don't want to say it has to say about AI, because it makes some very interesting decisions with the Norbots. But even so, I think it is so well utilized within the structure of the narrative that I think it ends up being a pretty fitting inclusion into this story and really drives the whole thing along. And the Norbots are just so creepy. Oh my goodness, after they become possessed, it is just absolutely crazy. Just those black eyes staring at you through the screen. But I really, really do love everything that this movie's tackling. It does feel like a Wallace and Gromit for a modern age. And my goodness, that third act, you could compare this to The Wrong Trousers, of course, because I think this is the only movie that it's on par with, to be quite honest. And there's so many innovative sequences at the end of this movie. It's just, all culminates to this one big chase that leads to a big climax that is reminiscent a little bit of another movie that came out last year. That's all I'll say. And it had me cackling, I'll say that much, because I thought it was so well utilized. And the references didn't feel like, oh, we're just doing this over again. It felt like, oh, we're paying loving homage to this, but we're also doing it in our own unique way. And I think, yet again, the way this story comes together at the end really, really makes this stand out as one of the best entries in the franchise period. Probably my second favorite. I don't even think that's close. And like I said, there's something with Feathers McGraw, man. If he's in your Wallace and Gromit movie, you know it's going to be one of the best ones. And that is more than certainly the case. I'm just so happy to see Nick Park and Aardman and company just pouring all their precious resources and time into making these films as special as they always have been. Nothing has changed. It has just gotten better. And that's why I'm going to give Wallace and Gromit Vengeance Most Foul a 9 out of 10. This is an absolute delight of a film, and I really hope Nick Park keeps making these for the rest of his life, because this is really what we need, honestly. This franchise is just so enduring, so iconic, and really never misses at all. And I think that is going to be the case for the rest of the time. As long as Nick Park is around, I think that's almost a guarantee. But you guys let me know what you thought about Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Must Fall, down in the comments below. Did you love it? Were you not as big on it as some of the other films in the series, and why? I really would love to hear that and more, and let me know if it's your favorite as well. And please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. I am going to be posting a video that I tried to get out at the end of 2024, and I just ran into too many time constraints to properly, lick it like I wanted to, but rest assured that will be coming hopefully by the end of the week, so we'll see about that. But yeah, stay on the lookout for all things movies and everything else, and yeah, we'll see you in the next video.